we can get the equation. Sigma x equals 0. It means Fax, all the force in horizontal, the summation of all the horizontal forces is 0. Is the meaning of the equation. It means is horizontal. Is horizontal. The summation of all the horizontal forces. Yes or not? So we can get Fax equal F0. Second, sigma Fy is 0. In y direction, there is just one force. So, your answer is Fay minus Fay. She vector Fay minus Fay equal 0. What's the meaning? It means you didn't know the meaning of the equation. As that, because there is just one force in vertical direction. So, copy is meaningful.
Yes.
You just need to understand it. Sigma sigma MA equals 0. It's M. It's M. This one, this force have a moment about the binder. The distance is the distance. Minus 3 cross 1 equals 0. Understand?
Yes.
So we can get the M is 10 Newton meter. Newton. The unit is Newton. Understand? No. What? Ask me the question. No. What? The question is what? Yeah. You don't know. You don't know the distance. What is the distance? When you want get a moment is a force times the distance. Yes, what? The distance is the perpendicular distance from the point to the line of the force of the action. Understand? It means there is a force, F. There is a point. How to find the moment of F about the point? Is F times the distance. The distance is from the point we get a line. The line is perpendicular to the force. The distance from the point to the force is the distance. The length. Understand?
Yes.
So, is the length of the force? Yes or no? Is the length of the force from the point we get a perpendicular line. is perpendicular to the line of the axis. So the length is the distance. It's 1 meter. So it's 1 meter. Understand?
老师 if you were equal to 0, but how can you get this?
If what is zero?
Yeah, I understand this one.
Zero. You finish the equation. You must write it's zero. It's you get it.
But this one,
This one, in y direction, there are just one force. In y direction, it's horizontal, it's vertical, it's moment, it's horizontal.
Yeah.
So, in all the forces, just one force is vertical. So in the direction, in the equation, there is just one force.
so
we can
there
get
is
it
no
into
vertical
zero.
force.
Yeah. So we can find that the force must be zero. Understand?
Yes.
Really?
Last
No.
is this cantilever?
M is the anti-clockwise line.
So we don't need to
No.
So we don't regard the direction.
Slowly.
We just consider the direction.
The direction. When you get the equation of the moment at the first time, we have to set the positive direction. Yes or not? The direction is assumed by yourself. You can assume the direction like this. Because before you solve the problem, actually they don't know the direction of the moment. Yes or not? So the direction is assumed. Is assumed. Assumption. Understand? When you set the anti-clockwise is a positive, so and in this case it must be negative. It's not from it's also negative because when the force acts on the rod will rotate clockwise, so is negative. So negative. So we can find that M is negative. As that
Yes.
when the answer is negative, when the result is negative, it means the assumption is wrong. Understand? It just need to know it. We don't change it. After you find M is minus 10, we know actually the moment is in this direction. Understand? Understand? Yes. In this problem, 3 limit, we don't use it. If I change the force, the problem, I change the problem, okay? If I change it, suppose this is 10 Newton. There is another force, 5 Newton. There is another force. Yes, not. I change the problem. Then we get the Freeman diagram. Is here. Yes or no?
Yes.
The equation C. The equation is C. For this equation, we have Fly minus 5 is 0. So Fly is 5. Understand? For this equation, we find there is another force. Yes or no? The distance from the point is the line of the action of the force. The perpendicular distance is 3 meters. So minus 5 plus 3 is 0. Understand? So we can get M is minus 25 Newton. Understand? Everyone have to know it. If someone doesn't know how to solve it, you can understand mechanics of materials. Okay. After we know the basic knowledge of statics, we can study mechanics of materials. At first, let me introduce the important conception stress and strain. And first, before we study stress, we have to know internal loading. What is internal loading? It is an arbitrary body. It's a common body. A force system, it means a lot of forces acting on the body. Understand? A lot of force acting on the body. We imagine pass through a section at a location in the body, separate the body into two parts. We know the top part will exert forces on the bottom part. Understand? This is the forces exerted. They are exerted by the top part. But actually, the forces, this forces is distribution on the surface. Understand? But from statics, we know it can be reduced to one moment and one force. It means in statics, we know the law of forces. A lot of force act on a body. The force system can be replaced by one force and one moment. A lot of forces can be replaced by one force and one moment. Maybe you don't know because your statics is too full. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You needn't to know why a resultant force and a resultant moment can replace all the forces. You needn't know why. You just know we can. Understand? You just know it can represent or replace all the forces. So it can be replaced by one moment and one force. Because the moment and the force is exerted by the top part. Understand? So we call it internal force. Because the force happened in the part. It's not. The force happened in the part. We know a force can be resolved into its components. Let's consider the force. Fr, the resultant. Fr is the resultant of the forces acting by the top part is the resultant. When we resolve it into its three components, one is perpendicular to the section. We call it normal force. We have to remember the name normal force because in the body we make a cut through the body. If on the section there is a normal force, it means the body will be elongated along the perpendicular direction. And that it means in the section, if there is a normal force, it means the body will be elongated. It will be elongated. Understand? It is a fraction. It is the fraction of normal force. If there is shear force, one shear force, there are two shear forces. It's one shear force in Another is a shear force. Shear force is means when there is shear force, it means that at the section location, the left part relative the right part will move along the section. It's move when you use a scissors cut a rubber. The rubber will be deformed. Deformation like this, yes or no? Like this, like this. Just it's the cut, and it will be. Yes or no? Like this. If there is shear force, this kind of deformation will happen. The moment we can also resolve the resultant moment. One component is perpendicular to the section. It means rotate, torque is not torsion. And that the inflection of the force of the collision the inflection is make the rod deformation like this. Yes or no? Like this. We call it a torque. There is another component. We call it a bending moment. We call it just sometimes I just call it a moment. When there is a moment, like at the section, if there is a moment, the rod will be bent at this location. So we know normal force, shear force, collision moment, bending moment. The inflection of every internal force we have to know. We have to know it. No, you didn't copy it. It's a little difficult because it is an arbitrary body. In mechanics of materials, we just focus on rod. We just focus on rod. It means a rod is a cylinder rod. Is a cylinder body. Is a rod. Yes or no? We don't care this kind of things. Is a block. Is a rod. Yes or no? Is a rod. Is a block. In mechanics of materials, we focus on this kind of things. We don't involve this one. This kind of things, block, we studied in elastic. And that there is a subject, we call it elastic. We can also call it mechanics of elastic bodies. In mechanics of materials, we just study the stress and the strain happening in rod. So it's a rod. So it's not important. We just introduce the conception what is normal force, what is shear force, what is torsional moment we talk, what is bending moment. Yeah. It's a rod, yes or no?
Right.
In 2D case, typical internal force in terms of normal or axial forces denoted by N. It's a normal force. Acting perpendicular to the section. Shear force acting along the surface, along the section, and the bending moment, In this case, there is no torque. You know, some of you have driver lessons, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, you have none. You have one. Is stairwell, yes or no? For this, suppose a force. It's you hand and force on it. Yes or no? Make a count at 1 point. Yes or no? There is a moment. We call it a torque. This internal force is torque. It's a torque. Torsional moment. Suppose it's D. Yes or no? T must be 2pf. You can find it. Yes. Because it's the land. Distance is D. We can also radius. Is not radius. This is the top. The deformation, you can imagine that. Yes or no? Can you imagine the X of the stairwell? Yeah. Deformation. The rod will deform. Yes or no? Because we talk it. Yes or no? So it will deform. This kind of deformation, we call it torque. If we analyze it, it will bend. It's bend. It means in this case, it will bend. Force amplified. Yes or no? It will deform like this. Yes or no? It will deform like this. Because we know there is a force. Yes or no?
Yes.
I saw in the last lecture. Make a contact. make a comment. Remove all the left part. Here, there is a moment Fx, so its M is V is self-constant. M, suppose the distance is d, is fr, yes or not? M is fd, fr times d. Because M minus fr cross d must be 0. So we can find that M is fd. Because there is a bending moment, so the beams will bend, will be bent. If there is no the internal force bending moment, the rod will be stretched, will be bent. Understand? Maybe like this. Suppose it's like this. Yes or no? Of course, angle on it. Yes or no? Angle on it. Easy example, right? In the middle part, it will bend. It will be bent. Because there are moments in every section of the middle part. But for this part, it will be a straight line. It must be straight line. Because there is no moment. Yes or no? You cut it. There is no force. Suppose there is a moment must be 0. Understand? Because this section must be balanced from statics and introduced just now. We can find that M is 0. So, of the effect of the F acted on the beam, this part must be a straight line. Also, this part is also a straight line. But for the mid part, it's a curve. Understand? Mechanics of materials is difficult. It's more difficult than statics. Actually, gradually you will fail. Okay? How to find the internal force is the first step to get the stress and strain. So we have to know how to find the internal force. How to find the internal force is just belong to statics. It's the reason why I introduced statics in the first lecture. Understand? Suppose it's a beam. Yes or no? We cut it. we have to do the flip diagram. The part must exert forces on this part. The forces, we call it internal forces. What is it? Because when you hold on, fixed on this part can't move. Yes or no? If I fixed this part can't move. It can't move upward, can't move horizontal in horizontal direction. It can't rotate. So it means for a rod, one part is a fixed end to other part. So the flip diagram we have to draw like this. It means this part is just the fixed end. What is the fixed end? Do you know fixed end? You forget it at all. I introduced it yesterday. No, you fixed end. Fixed end. You copy. Yes, fixed end. Fixed end. Yeah, fixed end. The actions is like this. You didn't copy the. For any rod, at any section, one part is a fixed end. When we studied the other part, one part is a fixed end. Because for a rod, this one part can't move relative to other part. Can't move. If this part is fixed, this part can't move. It can't move like this, can't move like this, it can't rotate. So why it can't move? Because the other part exert forces on this part. Understand? So it's a fixed. It's a fixed end. If you draw the flip diagram of the left part, it must be its action, it must be reaction. It's upward, it must be downward. It's anti-clockwise, it must be clockwise. Action and reaction. Understand? So in this case, we assume the moment like this. Assume like this. But component forces result into normal force, shear force, the moment for cutting. One part relative is when we consider the left part, the right part is a fixed end. So there are three reactions. One is moment, one is shear force, one is normal force. how to find them in internal forces is a procedure for analysis. At first, we have to find the support reaction. How to find support reaction? We find it from statics. To frequent diagram, use equilibrium equation to determine external support reactions. Then we make a section through the rod at a given location. Draw the frequent diagram of the section required and determine internal forces at the section. M, V, N, T. These forces are located at the centroid of the section. Equation. Get the equation of equilibrium. Okay. I'll show an example for you because this problem is a little difficult. I do a simple one to show you. I'll make a simple example for you. Okay? Ah. 10 Newton, 2 meter, 1 meter. I ask you find the internal force happening at this location. 1 meter. 1 meter. We call this kind of beam is simple support beam. Simple support beam. In Chinese is we call it 剪枝梁. 剪枝梁. Is Chinese. We call this kind of length is 梁. In English is beam. Is English beam. In Chinese is 梁. We call this kind of beam is simple support beam. 剪枝梁. 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 Most of the bridge are simple support beam. It means there is a pad. It's another pad. Move the beam. Place the beam under the pad. It's a bridge. Yes, no? It's a simple support beam. But it's a pad. It's also it's a pad. Suppose the beam is one rod. It's one rod. Okay. We call this kind of bridge is continuous bridge. It's the forces happened in this kind of beam is a little more difficult than simple support beam.
Simple support beam has two supports.
Yeah, it's simple support. It's simple support.
Two supports.
Yeah, only two support.
If we
It's the support is more than two.
the support, so it will be continuous.
Continuous thing. It's simple support. See? And also we have to find the direction. Because if it's a continuous beam, if I ask you find the support, the reaction is more difficult than this one. Suppose it's a tree. Suppose it's a tree. Yes or no? Three of you carry it to another place. If this one is too high, yes or no? If this one is too tall, all the weight carried by him. Yes or no? If he is too short, he didn't carry anything. Yes or no?
Yes.
So, if carry the tree, just two men, find the carry, find the loading of everyone is very simple because it's a support, it's simple support beam. If three men carry the tree, carry the tree. If one third weight carried by everyone, we have to know the health of the mid one. Yes, if the mid person is too tall, he will be very, very tired. Yes, if he is too short, he is do nothing. So this problem is too difficult. We can't solve the problem in statics, but we can solve it in mechanics and materials. Understand? Because the chair actually one time two man carry the chair. Well, the chair will be slightly, will be bending slightly. Yes, sir. So it's a challenge for you. If you know how to solve this kind of problem, you are very good at it. And first, solve the simple one. Yes, sir. Simple one. And first, in statics and first, we have to draw the frequency diagram. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Suppose is point A, is point B. Yes, sir. Sigma MA equals 0, FBY cross 3 minus 10 cross 2 equals 0, FBY must be 20 over 3. So, sigma Fy equals 0, Fay equals 10 minus. Yes or no? We can also find Fx is 0. So we can find that is a star 10 over 3 is 10, 20. Yes or no? Is 0. We can eliminate that. Understand?
Yes.
Study stuff. Yesterday, I introduced
Yes.
a sick example. Yesterday, I introduced a sick example. Understand? Yes, sir. Really? Okay. I want to clean it. Now, I want to find the internal forces happened at point C. Yes or not? At point C. So, make a cut at point C. Separate the beam into two parts. We can take everyone to analysis. Suppose I take the left part to analysis. Here is the logic at the left end. Yes or no? Because a rod, when we analyze this part is can be replaced by a fixed end. Yes or no? So we can is M. It's V shear force, normal force, bending moment. Yes or no? Okay. It's the flip of the diagram of the left part. We can get equilibrium equation. Sigma Fx is equal to 0. We can find M is 0. Yes or no? Is the same to static side. Sigma Fy is 0. We can find 10 minus V is 0. So V is 10. Sigma MC is 0. And sigma is C. Yes or no? Huh? What? 10 what? Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, it's a record. No. Yes, okay. Times 1 is minus because it's clockwise. Yes or no? Clockwise. This one is anti-clockwise. So we can find it. Newton meter， 对 ，Newton meter， 这是 Newton， 但是呢，这是 Newton meter。Understand? It's the internal force. It means at the point C, zero bending moment. So we know at the point C, the beam must be bent. Understand? Yeah. It's a summation of the forces in vertical direction. Just the one force. Yeah. Understand? Okay, we find the result is positive. Yes or no? It means the band, we assume the band in this direction is actual direction. The actual direction is this direction. Yes or no? Because the result is positive. But we can find the moment from the right part. Must be the same. Because they are the same location. Moment. I can find it from this part. Because we do the just now, I do it like this. Yes or no? Now, must be like this. Yes or no? Because action, reaction, action, reaction, action, reaction. So, yes or no? M, V, M. Yes or no? So, we can find M is 0. Yes or no? V is we can also find it. Maybe you don't know. Sigma fx is equal to 0, n equal to 0. Sigma fy equal to 0, v plus minus 10 equals 0. So v must be 10 over 3. Yes or no? The same result. Sigma MC equals 0. Sigma MC equals 0. Plus 2 minus 10 plus 1 minus m equals 0. We can find them. Yes or no? We get the same answer. We can get the same answer. If you take the left part or the right part to analysis, we will get the same result. Yeah. Yeah. We will get the same result because the moment is in the same surface. Now, there come a trouble. From the left side, from the left part, we get the moment is like this. From the right part, we get the moment is like this. The direction are opposite. Yes or no? Because they are the same surface moment. So we in mechanics materials we determine the sign of the moment by deformation. It means if in this case it's a dx. Suppose a small section, we take a small section at C point. We know from the right part, we know the deformation must like this because the bend is this one. Yes or no? So you know this small section will bend like this. From this part, it's also bend like this. It's not so. We determine the sign of the movement. The sign means some positive or negative. Positive or negative. We determine the movement is positive or negative by the deformation. If at the point the deformation is like this, we determine the movement is positive. Otherwise, determine it's negative. Don't understand? Understand? So, if you just now, he asked me a question. I don't know the bend. Yes or no?
But I don't know where it is.
I didn't get you. I didn't get you. Answer the question.
Now I understand.
Now you understand.
The person was like this two. One is negative. One is positive.
Two are positive. Is also positive. Is also positive. Because the deformation are the same. Deformation are the same. Right? In this part, deformation is like this. In this part, deformation is like this. So, if you take the left center or the right center, the answer are the same. Understand? So, is the equation. This one is a little more difficult because the statics. Because the distribution force is the distribution load. We don't know how to deal with it. Yes, not. We call this kind of loading. This kind of loading is distribution loading. Understand? Is a distribution loading. For a distribution loading, we can replace it by a concentrated loading. Distribution loading. Did you know how to find the centroid of a triangle? Centroid of a triangle. Do you know how to find the triangle? Find the centroid of a triangle. Centroid.
Yeah.
Centroid. For a circle, where is the centroid? For a circle. For a circle, where is the centroid? It's the centroid. Yes, no. For a square, it's the centroid. Yes, no. It's the centroid.
Yeah.
For a rectangle, is the centroid. For a triangle, is the centroid. 1, 2. Understand?
Yeah.
Is the location of the centroid. Is the location of the centroid of the triangle.
Yeah.
Really? So, look at the problem. Determine the resultant internal loading acting on the cross section at point C of the cantilever of the beam. This kind of beam, we call it a cantilever. One end is fixed. The other end is free. This kind of beam, we call it a cantilever of the beam. Simply call it cantilever. In Chinese, we call it 悬臂梁。悬臂梁，这是。悬臂梁。Maybe you can write it. Is the complicated. You get that? Can you write my name? My name is. Can you write it? It's Zheng. Zheng. You can call me Zheng 老师. Yeah, I'm Zheng 老师. You can write it. Can you write it? So, the character is hard to write. Yes, okay. Let's introduce it. At first, make a cut at the point C. Yes, no?
Yes.
At first, make a cut.
At point C.
Yes, at the point C. Draw the flipped diagram. This part, where exert the forces on this part. It's this forces. Yes, no? From static, from static. Because it's the distribution force. Replace it by a concentrated force. Understand? 1 versus 2. 1 versus 2. Yes or no? So, this location is the centroid of the triangle. The magnitude of the force, 540 Newton, is the area of the triangle. Area of the triangle. We can how to find 180? Do you know how to find 180? 你分什么？哎。over equal x. Oh. Yes or no? Similar triangle. Geometry, similar triangle. So x equal yes or no? Can you?
You take all this together.
Yeah.
And this together.
Yeah.
Oh. This chapter is from primary.
Similar triangle, no? It's too hot. Okay. Now, let's find the area of the triangle. Area of the triangle is half. equal 1/2 底乘高is 6. The length is 6. Is now is 180 millimeters. So okay. The area of the triangle replace the distribution force by a concentrated force. The magnitude of the triangle of the concentrated force, the magnitude is the area of the triangle. The location of the force passes through the centroid of the triangle. Understand?
Yes.
The concentrated force can replace the triangle distribution force. How do this is the answer? You don't know how this is the answer. How to get the answer? Do you know how to get the answer? X equal
270 divided by 9.
from the equation. What's equal? Yes. So maybe the example is difficult.
The things are just not clear.
I ignore the maybe. Let's skip it.
Now she just writes like the numbers, but you can show like how to get it.
Yeah. Okay. Same. Yes. Same. Yeah. Is the flip of the diagram. And sigma fx equals 0. We can find NC is 0. NC is 0. Yes or no? Sigma fy equals 0. With sigma fc is 0.
But now she knows the example. She didn't show how to get the answers. When you are going to read the answers, you are going to read the answers. You didn't show. When did you show how to get the answers? Like when you are going to read the answers, sometimes when you go through the
Because it's the same for my example. I can explain it. Every example in details.
No, that's I'm not saying to explain. I mean when you write the specific
No, granted.
yes,
You want to read it?
no, that's it. Like you didn't show how to get the
Maybe you have to slow down. I can read it. Okay. 10 is 0, 20 minutes left. 0, 20 minutes left. No, maybe the problem is too difficult.
No, actually,
I will give you a simple one.
the thing is just by not.
No, I don't continue. Maybe it's too difficult. Maybe it's difficult. I show you little
No,
more
actually, some
simple.
of us, like, you know, some of us, we give physics, like, our physics. Start on physics.
It's not physics.
Yes, this is really like we have no more physics.
Oh,
Yes, all these mathematics. And sometimes what is microphysics and things which is
find the internal force at the same. Try it. Okay? I solve it for you. And first, we make a cut and find C. Make a cut and find C. Because, what's your name? How do you know you? Your Chinese name? Alison. What? You don't know how to write it. Alison. Alison. Chinese name. Alison. Alice is a name of a girl. A girl, not a boy. Alice, you know Alice. Alice is the name of a girl. So you have to change it. Understand? Alice is a girl. Famous. Your name must change. Okay? Look at me. Because at the point you see, we look at the left section. All the loading alone. So we didn't find the reactions in this problem. I just cut it up. Take the red part to analysis.
Why do you
And take the left, I take the red part to analysis. So in this location, I didn't know the reactions. That's all. So it's 10. That's all. So it's normal. It's shear force. It's a moment. The direction of the internal force are assumed by myself. Understand?
Yeah.
I always assumed it like this. I assume the direction like this for normal stress. It means I think I assume it's elongation. It's elongation at this point. Shear stress is assumed like this. It means it will shear deformation like this. Like this. Bend moment and assumed like this is means I think. At the point C, the beam will bend like this and like this. It's my assumption. It's just my assumption. Sigma F equals 0 will find A is 0. It means the beam at point C, it don't elongation.
But last support is there. Support here and load here. And cutting part here. I think being by this.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I will find M is negative. Yeah. I will find the answer. Okay. After wait a minute. Sigma Fy equals 0 V minus 10. We have 10. is 10 Newton. Yes or not? Is 10 Newton. Sigma MC equals 0. 10 minus 1 minus M equals 0. So we find M equal minus 10 Newton meter. Huh? Look at me. Is minus. So, is my assumption. I assume it's bend like this. Yes or not? But actually, there is a negative. Often I find it and know actually is bend like this.
So firstly,
I
assume.
No. Firstly, I don't know how to bend and bind. See. After I find the moment and know the bend. And understand?
Yeah, understand. Because if I assume the beam bending like this, it's okay.
Yeah.
Then I find out momentum.
Yeah.
So can you show,
Before
can you show this?
Before I find the moment, I don't know how to bend and bind. See? Yes or no? I don't know how to bend. So I just I have to make a supposition like this. I assume the bend and this bind is like this. But I find there is a minus. It means my assumption is wrong. Because there is a minus. So actually, and this as a point is bend like this.
Now see, every clockwise force are negative.
Yeah. This direction is positive. So, we make a sign conversion. If M is like this direction, M is positive.
But you take minus.
It's difficult problem. Maybe I have to explain the next class. Okay? It's a difficult point. Today, I give you a homework. Time is out. A homework out. It's a homework. Today, some of you didn't give me your homework. Yeah. Solve the equation. Minus 10. About what? If you want to use this part, you have to find the reactions. Yeah. Understand? Understand? Use the same method. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. 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 But when you consider the left bottom is to yeah, now the red bottom is simple. So I consider this.
Now see, there has two sides support. So which side we have to skip?
If you want consider the left bottom, at first you have find the reactions. So in this case, take this bottom is more difficult than to take this one. Yes, sir?
So which part we have to skip? Yeah.
So I take the red bottom. It's simple. If you take this bottom,
If logic, just assume if they have another support, so what should I do?
what?
Yeah, they have only one side support.
They have
One side support. Just
one side support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the support is there.
Yeah.
There is no support. Just
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
And cutting point is there. Then we skip this one. Skip.
Give this one. Do you know the reaction?
No. Yeah, I will skip this.
You can't solve it. Right? If you take this bottom, yes or no? If you take this bottom, it's M, it's V, it's M, yes or no? Here FA is FAY, MA. Do you know? We don't know how much is it. Yes or no? So take the left part is not convenient.
So here we have to find
Yeah.
firstly if
If you want to take the left part, at first you have to find these three reactions. And it's not how to find it.
so we have to take this one which have force and convert, right?
Force and what?
And C point.
And stick point. Yeah, this one. You this one.
There have support.
Yeah.
So
This problem at first we have to find the support.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Then we take just only love shape. Then first of all we find this one.
Ở rồi à? Ủa nó rồi à? Ôi giời. Tên chỉ số là 수제가 소라
First of all, we have to find the
left side, right?
yeah. So then
Yeah.
Then we cut
Yeah.
this part
Yeah.
and leave this one, right?
Yes.
But here it should be so small. So this side has
How much?
oh yeah. This force
Yeah.
will be applied, right?
You can do it in sufficient. After you find it, you can do it. What? This person, it's earlier.